Hello, we are the Ministry of the Real Truth. Welcome. And this is our front page for our YouTube channel, the Ministry of the Real Truth. And this is our range of videos, everything from being a lazy couch potato to the Greeks stealing from the Egyptians, or their religious texts, philosophies, etc. Prophet Muhammad being kind to the original Church of the East by giving them a charter. H.G. Wells and his outline of history, beginning of creation, life in the water, to eventually history, around about 1940s, 50s, maybe a bit later. The original Church of the East, Apostolic Orthodox. Brother Nathaniel, is he crazy? Is he a scam artist? Is he telling the truth? And lots more information there. Truth about the Westcott Hort translation of the New World translation of the Jehovah's Witnesses, and plenty more. Who to watch out for? They might be a bit dodgy in their life behind the scenes. The Syrian Aramaic history that's been kept under the carpet by the Western theologians, etc. Erasmus may have been a dodgy man. Okay, a bit of humour here, bit of Egyptian religion there, and so forth. So you can go through that when you subscribe to our channel below. Oh, and don't forget to set that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these new videos that we put up here. Okay, so this video today is a video in response to a certain US movement, organisation, cult that's been around for since the 70s, I suppose, called the Hebrew Israelites, and what they claim, what they say, you know, they're original, that they're descendants of the Hebrew Israelites, they're the true Jews, all that sort of stuff. If you watch their videos, that they can speak Hebrew fluently, they know Hebrew better than anyone else, and so forth. And they're quite rude to people on the street, and loud, and etc, etc. Okay, so we might step on a few toes, squish a few egos, and hit many a raw nerve in doing so, as we expose them. It's a dirty job, but someone's got to do it. Faith no more. Okay, let's pick on them in particular. Okay, we still see them as bros, you know, brothers. Haven't met any yet, but yeah, they're still treating like people, you know, they're still human beings. Okay, the US Hebrew Israelites and their offshoots. They've got many offshoots. They've even got some in the UK, apparently. Haven't got any here down in New Zealand yet. They claim they speak or know the ancient Hebrew when they really don't. Fact, they state the name of God as Yahuwahiwahi, or Yahuwashiwashi, or the Son of God's name is Yahuwah, Eoshoa, or Yahushawawa, or funny names like that, Yahushawai. And they change it. Notice on Sarnetta that one where they say the Son of God's name is Yahuwah, the Yahushua, the Yahuwashiwashi, you know, all this sort of stuff. When it's not. Okay, you need proof. Yeah, so went to this, recalled this channel in this video that I went to, and asked certain questions. Okay, of Dr. James Defrancisco, who has a Ph.d, he has 2 doctorates in the Aramaic and Hebrew languages. Okay, he's a professor, so he knows what he's talking about. He's qualified. Okay, and I tried to go to his website, but I couldn't get there. Right. Well, when I went there, it was actually something else. And he's put here, the website mentioned in the video was retired several years ago. Since then, the domain address was acquired by an organisation having nothing to do with Aramaic or biblical studies. So ignore it. Yeah, I went there and it was a Chinese site. So what the hell? So I posed them a few questions about the Hebrew Israelites under the name Real Juicy News, because that was the channel I was using, our other channel, and listening to Saneda TV, House of Consciousness, and some of the live streams. Somewhere along the way, I ended up in a bit of a not a heated dispute, but just a dispute with another person, and I decided to ask him, what does woman mean in Hebrew? Because he's the expert in Hebrew, right? I said of, from, taken out of God, out of, right? What does woman mean in Hebrew? I said of, from, taken out of. Got flack or crap by a guy saying I don't know Hebrew. He does. I obviously don't. I'm a Gentile, not a black. Real Jew. He's never met me. Okay, so he's just making an assumption, making an ass of himself. Not a black real Jew of the lost 12 tribes of Israel. I read it in the footnotes of a modern Bible from Genesis as taken from out of, etc. So if you look at the word, it means woman means of man, okay, taken out of man, okay, from man. Yeah? And there's the link here. The role of woman, well, the Jewish views on woman. Okay. Yeah, if you have a look at the word woe, W-O, and men, in the English in the Bible, right, it says woe men, or woman, woe men, which means it's a feminized man. It's taken out of Adam, the man, and given a softer curves and perhaps with estrogen, whatever, to feed the child she bears or children she bears, etc., etc. So she's basically, what I can understand through personal experience, etc., etc., that she's a womb man. She's a woman, a man with a womb. She's feminized, right? Etc., etc. It's only an assumption from what personal experience is. Okay? So, he explains the word for woman in Hebrew is Ysho. Is that the name of the little girl supposedly the Prophet Muhammad married at 9 or whatever? Not sure. But if they're all Semitic, then yeah, this word is probably derived from the Hebrew, right, and the Arabic. Okay? I'm not sure. I don't speak those languages fluently. Someone can clear us up on that. It can also be translated as wife. Okay, I'm reading it as Isha, or something else, something completely different, right? But yeah, okay, I'll take his word for it. The word for woman in Hebrew is Isha. It also can be translated as wife. The word woman in English is derived from an old English word, wifmon, and it has nothing to do with Hebrew or Aramaic. There is an interesting aspect of the Hebrew letters used for man, woman and fire, but you need to know a little about the language to get it. Please keep questions directed at the video content and let me know what your name is, because it seems silly to be communicating with a clever sausage. Well, that's because that's the name I was using at the time. Okay, before I changed it to Real Juicy News, because it's a brand account, even though I haven't formulated a brand yet. And so my reply was, okay, you can refer to me as H, because they can't pronounce my name properly. I always get it wrong, especially Europeans. Dutch Uncle John on his channel, I think it's about Genesis chapter 1, said I couldn't defend myself against an attacker on his channel about Genesis and the pictographs, as I was using an anonymous channel name. And he asked, why is this comment on my channel? That's Uncle John. Okay. So I replied, because this guy here, he ridiculed me, made assumptions, created lies about me when I presented him the real truth. because I exposed his errors. Nothing wrong with debating and revealing errors or misinformation. Yes, and it makes others aware of a troll hell-bent on crushing Christians or a pretender. I wrote about your presentation. Will you retort me angrily? Because I stated what I have stated in accordance with the real truth or an alternative truth. I don't believe you would, as you seem like a nice man, and I enjoy your videos. Freedom of expression, freedom of speech is okay as long as not sexist, satanic, racist, hating, etc., right? No other person should have to be put through this, right? That kind of crap. I rewrote my comment so it could be deemed inappropriate, so it couldn't be deemed inappropriate on your channel. Yeah, indicated it. And he states, I will remove your post tomorrow. This is not the venue to debate your adversary. Also, you are doing it anonymously, as Clever Sausage doesn't reveal who you are. That's Dutch Uncle John. In my reply to him, after being hassled, called a lie, etc., after responding to a nasty person, etc., etc., okay, this person here, I have the right to be anonymous, do I not? Want to know my name? Email me. We were happily getting along, comparing views, when he suddenly got all flustered and angry, while I remained cool throughout the whole ordeal, right? Cool as a cabbage in the fridge. If I can't talk human on any channel with another who suddenly goes ape for no real valid reason, maybe he's deprived of his daily banana, and post comments, then isn't that a violation of my rights? Okay? So he's telling me that I can't go anonymous on YouTube, right? I can't use an anonymous name. Where does it say that in the YouTube policies? Right? Before I signed up. Where does it say it in the small print? He's making an ass of himself, right? He's making assumptions. Making an ass out of you and me. Okay? So he gets all irate, this that sounds called John, and wants to remove my comment. Okay? Well, that's his channel. Okay, fair enough, but you know, it just seems pointless, silly. So in reply to him saying, oh, you know, up here, he wants me to put my real name so he can yeah, talk to me and use that name, reply to me and use that name, because he doesn't like the idea of talking to a clever sausage. Anyway, that's his opinion. So I put, okay, we'll try to keep it towards your video, and knowing the Aramaic really well, do you know if there's a word in Aramaic for God? Or in the Hebrew we know as Yahweh, as Yahuwashiwashi, or Yahuwashi, or Yahuwahiwahi. Sorry, trying to prove this US Negro movement, the Black Hebrew Israelites, ISUPK, etc., make names up claiming to know how to speak Hebrew. And he replied, I will not honour a request for a sacred name when the request contains so much BS. Please be a little more precise in the question and I will answer it. This is not some comedic game show. So he gets a bit retorty. Yeah. I guess with text, you can, with these comments, you can take it one of two ways. The right way and the wrong way, as in text messages on your phone. Okay, so I says, sorry, I'm not playing games. These people make the claim that this particular name, Yahuwashi or Yahuwashiwashi or Yahuwuwuwu, is in the Hebrew language, and I'm simply trying to verify it's false. Thanks. I think you confirmed it. Thanks again. So he replies, you are correct. In ancient Hebrew, the sacred name would be transliterated YHWH or Yahweh with no vowels. We do not know pronunciation. Okay, we don't know that pronunciation. It is known, here's the real kicker, right, kicking the nuts. It is known that the first syllable is Yah. This comes across in Aramaic as Maria or Maya, Lord Yah or Lord God, Master, right? Lord or Master. There, or Master, Lord God or Master God. There is a lot of BS on the internet, and I have learned over the years to treat those who perpetuate it with swift responses before deleting them altogether from my life. They will steal your time, and time is life. Be well. That's cool, right? I found one of his books, Original Sin and Ancestral Sin. comparative doctrines. I was reading it at the time. And then I had another question for him sometime later, I think. Do you think that the translators like Alexander, or Victor Alexander, who speak the languages natively, have that natural Eastern mindset and know it better than you, even though you have perhaps Western awarded doctorates? As I noticed, many say this and that, like Dylan Downs, who doesn't know Aramaic fluently, doesn't speak it fluently. George Simmons, another guy, who says he went to university, etc., and he got his certificates, degrees, or whatever in the Aramaic, which was the Syriac, and not the ancient Assyrian Aramaic or the Kitab Asheret. And he's saying that Victor N. Alexander can't speak it. He's speaking it all wrong. The guy's a native speaker from Bet Narain in Assyria, Mesopotamia, and Assyria. Okay, he's saying that Alexander translate the Aramaic wrong, and they both think they know better, etc., even better than you. So he gives me a reply. So I've just verified up here that those Yahuwashiwashi woo 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 Yahi woo woo Hebrew Israelites, it's not Hebrew. They don't know Hebrew at all. Okay? It proves it. Yeah? They don't know Hebrew. They're just making stuff up. Which is, I can understand why. Yeah, I mentioned in the video. Because the African roots have been suppressed for thousands of years or hundreds of years, 400 years or whatever, or more. So they're trying to find their roots, and they're trying to find an identity. I can understand it. Okay, so he replies, it's not that simple. If the native speaker is objective and is ready to put aside biases, which Victor N. Alexander states he did, right? He wanted to translate the original Assyrian Aramaic manuscripts into the closest or nearest English that he could, because sometimes in Aramaic you don't have an English equivalent for a word such as Milta, which means it's a sacred title for Jesus the Messiah. It was only to be used in reference to him. So the closest he could find was manifestation, which means that he was hidden, he wasn't revealed, and then at some point he was revealed. Right? God incarnated in flesh, came to earth, etc., etc. Okay, and God is the embodiment of that manifestation. Okay. So he said on his website, it's downva.com, that he left out the urge to do it. Okay, twist it, etc. He was going to use the modern Bible as a reference. It was translated from the Syriac, but he was told by the high priest that he brought the original manuscripts in that original language from the Church of the East, the original Church of the East, founded by the disciples Thomas, Thaddeus, Adai, etc. And he was, this is later on, because it's actually translated from the Syriac, and that priest came past him and he said, "Oh, what are you up to now?" He says, "I just finished the New Testament." He says, "Oh, just finished translating the New Testament from the Syriac." And he says, "Why the Syriac?" He says, "Oh, because blah blah blah." And I'm translating it for my friends or whatever. And he says, "Well, it's wrong. Okay, because it all originally came from the Assyrian Aramaic, the Kitab Asheret. Okay? Not the Syriac. Syriac is a modern form of the Aramaic derivative." So what this Victor N. Alexander did apparently was he found a way to revive that so-called dead language, and he was able to translate those original Assyrian Aramaic or Kitab Asheret manuscripts into the nearest English that he could, or faithfully into the nearest English that he could. Yeah. So, as I mentioned in other videos, if you put in your YouTube search the Aramaic scriptures, you'll come across a video called the Adam and Eve story. It should be Eve, but yeah, typo error. And a little old man with a cap on and white hair reading from looks like a Bible format, or a Bible, speaking a very funny language. So what he's doing is, what seems like a funny language, what he's doing is he's reading from those original manuscripts and translating from that into English, translating from that Bible format. Right? Okay. Okay. So I spent a year emailing. Okay. I take him. Where are we? Okay. My reply. Okay. I get it. Thanks. I take him at his word as he said he was determined to leave out his personal bias, prejudice and urge to twist it and leave out adding his own flavour to the text in English, as it was important to him to get the real apostolic message out there. He wants to restore the apostolic faith, okay, that the disciples followed, practiced, etc., etc., and passed on to that original Church of the East, and they've been doing what they would, the original disciples said, and all the instructions, everything, for centuries without changing it. They've just basically been following it for those centuries, right? The old traditions, whatever the rites are that they do, right? Yeah, this is what I found in looking in the Aramaic, Assyrian Aramaic history of that church, right? Okay, so I tried to catch him out heaps, right? But I never did. Okay, found him to be a man of his words, so respected him. I spent a year emailing him to catch him out as a liar or a nasty guy. He never once retorted me. We had a little chuckle at some things, right? There we go. We had a few chuckles because I find all the weirdest Aramaic things online. And I asked him this question because I got a link. His format deemed wrong. Roundtable talk preview with Andrew Gabriel Roth and Dr. James Defrancisco. Him in this. He looks a bit like George off the program Seinfeld. Nobody's got glasses, and he translated the Eastern Peshitta, the original Eastern Peshitta, avoiding the Western Peshitta, Peshitta, and the Latin Vulgate, etc., into English at the AramaicScriptures.com. Some sort of seminar or something, talk around the table sort of thing. And so I got a reply from him, Mr. Defrancisco, Defrancisco, right? Okay. He said he's trying to get a link for the entire roundtable discussion to post here on Facebook and a school where he taught online courses. He does teach a course on Aramaic at low cost if you're interested. And there's the link there. It's probably the Syriac. Clicked on your link and it has an Asian website, and that's why he's saying, oh yeah, there's something wrong there. There's a problem there. And it gives a bit of information about it, I guess. People talking crap, addressing dissenting opinions. The information presented in this series is not what seminars teach, what most seminars teach, nor is it what is covered in most church Sunday schools. However, it is based on extensive research into the background and language of the Bible, including Near Eastern and Jewish perspectives, often overlooked by or unknown to most Christians interested in New Testament and biblical studies. Therefore, let's address a few of the criticisms, and then it goes on and on. It's quite extensive, probably about the Nestorian Church, etc. And the website link has been replaced. So, in sum, I've basically proven that those Hebrew Israelites don't know Hebrew at all. Okay, they're actually lying that they know it, and they're making up these names: Yahuwashiwashi, Yahuwahwahi, Yahuwahwahi, whatever. They're all made up. Okay. So I'm referring back to my notes here. Okay, it's not proved. Yahuwahiwashi, all that, we've done that, right? We spoke with a professor having a Ph.d, holding 2 Ph.ds, doctorates in Aramaic and Hebrew. Looked at the comments. Okay. In the original ancient or very old sacred script, scribal old tongue, Lishana Artika or Sopraia, written and spoken by the well, the original disciples spoke the Galilean Aramaic. Okay, God was never found in the ancient original, very old Aramaic, or the ancient very old Hebrew. He had a title, Maria, or Maran, Allah, not a name, or Il, or Eloi. Ma'ya, which means Lord Master, or Lord God, that's referring to God. Ysho Mashiach, Jesus the Messiah, also had a title, a sacred title, reserved only for him. Multa, in English the manifestation. He was the manifestation of God, and God was the embodiment of that manifestation. But he also had an earthly name, Ysho, or Esho, or Yeshua, in the Hebrew. Most of us know that. So if somebody makes up one, like maybe there might have been one Yahuwah, I'm not really sure, as the world's last chance user, but when they make up names like his name is Yahuwashiwashi, Eoshoa, right? Because they're trying to mix the Hebrew with the ancient Aramaic. That's what I found. Someone might have read my site or whatever, and was posted up that his name was Yeshua, right? Totally incorrect. So they're trying they do that sort of thing. Apparently the original Aramaic never had vowels, only consonants, but the letter A was considered a consonant, not a vowel. The US Hebrew Israelites claim that in Revelations 15, I think it is, Jesus was a black man. Another lie. They try to say at first he had nappy hair. Okay, like if you watch the movie by Denzel Washington, it's Malcolm X in the movie Malcolm X, arguing a point with a Roman Catholic priest, saying that they had nappy hair. Okay, these Hebrew Israelites do the same thing, but I found over time they changed it to woolly hair, as they often do, change things, you know. But if you ever worked on a farm with sheep, you'll notice if you compare it with certain Native Americans here, like I've got this book called The Negro, and it actually details their hair, what it's like, frizzy or really tightly curled. It's nothing like a sheep, but no rude intentions or discrimination meant here. Okay, just stating a fact. It's more like a poodle's hair. I've got a cousin that's got this. He must have some African or something, and his hair's really tight like that, and he could grow dreads really well. Yeah, like a poodle's hair, really tight. Poodle's hair. He's a little dog. Okay, and there's evidence of what the hair was actually like with the Africans in the book The Negro. You can download that PDF for free online. They also try to say that it's written in the Bible, in the Old Testament, that Solomon was black. When it's talking about a woman from Kedar being very dark, not necessarily black, as she was forced to work in the family's vineyards or other, so it became very dark, or dark, over time due to the sun beating down on her constantly. As Hebrew Israelites, they seem to say a lot of things like this, make a lot of claims which are false according to the Old Testament, and try to live by all written in the OT, or the Old Testament. The only thing that matters in the Old Testament to Christianity, ancient or modern, is the Messiah, who came from God, who was God incarnate in the flesh, to tell men of good news, and be put to death, be beaten, and his blood shed for all mankind, as all were sinners and have sinned, and that sin has created a great divide or chasm that none can cross to get back to God, figuratively, between God and man, and the Christ was the new and only way back. He was the bridge back to God. He was the way back. All sinners forgiven them as he died, or he shed his blood for all, as a remission of sins, for all men's sins. He was resurrected as promised or prophesied. He fulfilled that prophecy. When you say, oh no, he never fulfilled any of them, well, he actually did. It was written in Dutch Uncle John's video on YouTube. He was comparing the pictographs, the ancient Hebrew pictographs, and what they meant with the Hebrew language and what was actually said there. That this Messiah, this Christ, Son of God, would willingly go to his death on a cross, for the sake of man, sinful man. Okay, so he fulfilled his prophecy. Now all men who simply believe in him, accept him as their Messiah, their Lord, their Master, etc., and follow his teachings, God's commandments, so they will have everlasting life with him and God the Father in heaven. And it says, then repent, be baptized, throwing off that old natural man, sinful man, animal man or beastly man that sins, and take on a new spiritual man through the power of the Holy Spirit in the likeness of him, the Christ. Okay, so again, I have proven that the Hebrew Israelites are wrong, right? So you need to be very, very careful of them. They're a cult, right? They're a false movement. Started up in the 1970s, apparently. Yeah, and unfortunately, a lot of them have a big ego. So they'll yell at you, swear at you, as I was when I went to a live House of Consciousness live stream yesterday. And I came in late and I saw the lady, looked like she was standing there, she was nodding off, going to sleep right on her feet. So, coming in late, I just put in the chat, oh, is she falling to sleep, nodding off? And halfway through her sentence, replying to someone else that was getting at her, must have been getting at her for a long time, a lot of people getting at her, well, she got angry. So it's understandable. She says, oh, watch what you say or something. You don't want to be blocked, you don't want to get blocked. And she said, stop that. S, asterisk, T, etc. I don't like people like that. Sick of people like you. That sort of thing. That's not, okay, we all have our faults, right? We all lose it sometimes. Understandable. But they don't learn the key elements, Verses like, you need to control your mouth, control your tongue, control, if you haven't got control of it, then your religion is worthless, right? And stuff like that. They need to learn those key scriptures, they need to learn how to place themselves under heavy fire. Heaps of pressure happens often, so you learn to become cool, calm, cool as a cabbage in a freezer, right? And it doesn't affect you. Like, you can learn some philosophical stuff, like, it's thrown at me, but I don't have to believe it. If I'm confident in myself that I'm not that, then I'm not that. So it shouldn't affect you. Just shrug it off, and stuff like that. Okay, so this is basically what this video is about. It's just to prove that these Hebrew Israelites, unfortunately, are wrong. Okay, they're just totally wrong. So be wary of them. Okay, so if you like that video, then subscribe to our channel, give us a like, add some comments, and make sure that notification bell is set. So enjoy the rest of your day, and we will see you again on the next exciting video from the Ministry of the Real Truth.